Roads Bros, I'm gonna be attaching a new motor to my electric bike and putting on a bunch of accessories, lights, and stuff like that. The first accessory I'm gonna put on is a kickstand, which here are the parts for it. I just have to take off all of this and put it in where the old kickstand is, because this is a regular bike kickstand and it's too small to hold up a bigger bike. Now I've got all the top parts of the bike off, and when I first started to build this, I had to cut this out, this middle brace, took the seat out, and I took off a ton of stuff that was on here before. Like I took out all the old brakes and just made it look a lot smoother, and then I put all this on, and then I fried the motor somehow. Like something like this happened, or something broke in here, or something happened to the motor, and it's a 72 volt DC motor, and I had to buy another one to get it going again. Attach all the things that go to the motor, and I've got that all unscrewed, and then gotta unhook this. One more piece. Okay, now the motor and this are separated. Now I gotta get this off and all of this, which might be difficult. There we go, got that part off a little bit. Now, getting under here is going to be difficult because I have to take all of this off, and it's a lot of different types of screw hookups, and it's just going to be kind of difficult to get off. First, to get these screws off. Now I'm gonna take this screw out. Oh, what's holding it back? There we go. There's the whole thing off. Wow. Okay. Now we're gonna take this off and stick the new kickstand in. Man, that's a mess. It got really muddy, I guess. And it's surprisingly, this motor is very water adaptive because it never broke from the water. I was just driving it up a hill, and I think something bounced and did something and broke, and it wasn't really rainy or muddy at that point, and then I just wheeled it in, and I've been trying to figure out what's wrong with it, but I can't. But the wires had gotten fried at a point, and sometimes when the wires start frying like that, they can't stop, and it might have fried somewhere in here, or something might have busted in here or something like that. Okay, so this fits. Now I'll get everything else and start attaching it. There we go. It works. Let's see if it holds. Yep, there we go. And the nice thing about this one is it adjusts like that. Now it's to the ground, and then it goes back up like that. Okay, all the packages have come. The accessory parts, the brakes, and then the motor and stuff in there. Now I have to put on the brake wheel, and I think I'm just gonna kind of jam it down in there somehow. The wheel spins in here, and then when you pull on this, it tightens up in there. Well, I've got this attached, but it's able to adjust and stuff. And I kind of got the brake ring on, so I'm going to try to get them all adjusted and put on. Okay, well, I got all of this attached, and it rubs against this at this point where the brake wheel goes along. And I haven't welded this on, so I have to grind this down just a little bit more and push the brake wheel on some more. And I'm not going to attach all the parts completely until I get the chain ready so I can adjust everything around. And so now I'm thinking I'm going to start on the motor. And I got the motor going now. Here's the motor, then it connects into this, I call it a smart box, but I'm not sure what its real name is. And then it goes to the battery, the key, and the throttle. And if you turn the key, and then you have reverse and 3 speeds, which is pretty nice. Also comes with a new chain and gear, but I already have the gear welded onto the bike, and then the chains are all the way already around it. I'm gonna figure out the measurements for this old piece of board, and then I'm gonna cut out a new one because it's all gotten used up like really bad, as you can see, because of all the screws I put in it. So I'm just gonna switch that out, and then I'll have to take off the piece of metal, and I want the piece of metal for the next piece because it already has all the holes in the right places. And then I'll take the motor off and take the piece of metal. So. Got my board. Take the metal off.
See if it fits.
Okay, that looks pretty good. That's nice. Yep, there we go. Now I'm putting some screws in these little holes. Okay, the motor. It's gonna go on just like that. That's just how the other one was on there. Yeah, that's right. Got the motor attached. And now I'm going to mount it to the bike at this point, and I'm just gonna pretty much re-screw everything how it was when I took it off. So I'm putting this in, and it looks like, let's see if the chain will fit. No. I'll have to loosen up these bolts right here. Got the motor attached now. I know this does come over quite a bit more, but there's not really anything I can do about that because this motor is so big. But if I had any smaller motors, it would just wouldn't look right, I don't think. Oh shoot. That is awfully bad. Idiot. It has to go over even some more because like that. That's maybe about right, and I know it's so wide apart, and you can't really get any motor that's 72 volts right into here because, like on the regular e-bikes, and so it's easier just to have the chain and this. And this setup does not work with this all the time. I got super lucky with this setup because this gear just so happens to fit over this mongoose chain because the regular gear is here, and I didn't go off the regular gear because this chain and this gear are different, and it's just, and then you would have to buy a new gear for the electric motor, and then a new chain, and then it would hook up, but then it wouldn't be as powerful as if you had such a bigger gear. Now I'm just going to secure this a little bit more and get everything all lined up more straight and everything. It's a lot better than I'm building another one because on the first one I did not do this good of a job, and it took me a lot of times to figure out the best siding and stuff, and I built like 3 different types, and I eventually settled on one, and I think I'm going to stick with that one, but I'm just making everything more secure because the battery would always bump around on the bumps, and I always wanted to quit that noise. So now I have the chance because I took the whole thing apart, and this was never completely secure, but now it's when you move it, it moves the bike. I just trial and error, I guess, is how I get the best motorbike. So I'm going to start putting on the attachments and stuff. So I always put the battery. The battery's going to go here, and then the box with all the wires is going to go here. Then I usually just put some stuff on top. I guess that'll work. I mean, I guess that's the best I can do. Because when I was sitting on this, with it like this, I always felt like I was leaning forward, And I guess that isn't the best feeling, so I think I'm going to cut it down just a little bit. And now I'll get to that now. Now, let's see if this is a better cut or angle. Yeah, that's a lot better. It gives it more of like a sportsy car look, I guess. Yeah, I think that's how it's gonna go. I'll get the other one. Okay, I've got the two pieces cut. Now I'm going to attach them. So this was the old brake line, and I think I'm gonna take that out now because I don't want it running through my whole system. I spoke too soon. This does wiggle when you put the battery in it. So, I've tried these, but because this is round, it slips. So I'm gonna put this handle like this, and on the area where it's flat, and I don't think it'll slip anymore. It's gonna go something like this, kind of at the ending point. But I do have this new handlebar set up for it. It's got the brakes and these special pad pieces. And I also bought these really neat horn, turn signal, and light switch, which I think is pretty cool. So now I realized when I'm setting up the chain, I decided I would set up the brakes. And I'm having a little bit of a difficult time because of how it's not really built to go with a mongoose bike. So I'm having to rebuild everything. And what I've been doing, I've grinded it down enough to get this part much on, but I have to grind it down more to get it farther down. Then once I get it all figured out, I'm going to weld these to that, and then I think it'll hold, but I just got to grind it down a little bit more. Okay, let's see if it fits. Well, I guess it kind of is on as far enough, but let me see. I might grind down just a little bit more right there. Okay, let's see now how much more. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, so it fits, and that's nice, and it's adjustable, if you know what I mean. I can move it around. So now let's stick it on and see if I can get everything adjusted correctly. Everything attached this far, and I think I'm at a good point. I think I'm just going to put a little tack weld right there just to hold this in place, and then I can adjust the brake wheel because it's a little bit loose right now, and then I can get everything perfectly set up, which is what I want. So I've learned that you cannot run your ground through bearings or it will ruin your bearings, so I'm trying to figure out where to hook my ground up to. So, let me think. Don't want to hook it up through here because then I have to go through here. Okay. I guess I'll have to hook it up to here or something like that. So I've got everything hooked up, and I mean, I'm pretty sure it's running pretty good. The chain kind of slows it down because it's hooked up to the motor, but I just got everything hooked up. Now, the scary thing I have to do is I have to weld this on here, and I don't really want to do that because of the chance that it might not work. Because then I do have an extra brake ring that's for the front, but I don't think I'm going to do front brakes just because I don't really need to, and if I need an extra ring, I'll use it. I had this type of brake, but for stopping such a big amount of load, it wasn't working that well. So I've decided to put on nicer brakes, and these brakes are pretty sharp, and it makes me pretty excited. I'm gonna attach these new handlebars setup I made onto the bike, and then I'll keep going from there. Now I can attach these. That looks cool. Okay. Now I've got all this attached. More the reason I put all this on is so I can, the handlebars on is so I can attach the brake and stuff like that. And get that on the roll. This is the back brake, pull, and turn signal. I'm gonna move this back over, but so this is at least one half. And I didn't use these on the last one because I thought they were too big, but then I realized they have to be really big to be able to fit the brake in there, which is pretty nice. Do you see this little bump right here? This little thing. I think it wants you to have to drill a hole for it to fit correctly, so I think I'm gonna do that. Okay, now I'm gonna attach the throttle for the motor now. Okay, gotta loosen up there's this little back piece, and you loosen it. There we go. One second, I'm not gonna put this on quite yet. I'm gonna go get the numbers that turn this, and this is gonna be the on button because I don't want there to be a key. So I've got everything all hooked up, and I think it looks pretty cool. Brake, light, turn signal. Now, I still haven't set everything up. I still gotta hook all the lights up and everything. It came with this little sheet thing that shows you how to put everything together. And I didn't use this side, which is this one right here. I used the one with the horn and the light. And here's it has right turn signal, front turn signal, and all of that stuff, and then low bar light and high bar. Then the horn, which it didn't come with the horn, so I'm not going to set that up. And the battery, and then the thing, and I have to wire this whole thing up, which might be pretty difficult. Now I'm going to start adding the battery and the box and start hooking everything up, and then I'll attach everything. Now I might do this last, hook all this stuff up, so I can test the motor going on it. Relatively how it's going to look at the end. I'm going to cut this off right here and put all the wires on the inside, and I'm going to figure out how to clean this stuff up, but I'm not sure how to do that right now. I'm sorry you guys got stuck on time lapse, and I've done a lot, and those clips were practically worthless. I attached the seat, I put this in, I put the wires on, I got this attached, and now I'm working on getting the brake and chain all tightened up. And the reason I'm doing that at the same time is so I can get them both perfect for when I weld the brake wheel on. I think that chain's pretty tight. I'm gonna weld the brake wheel to the bike. I'm just trying to get it perfectly straight, so I'm not having to deal with any, because when I weld it on, it's not gonna wanna move if it's not perfectly straight. I'm gonna weld the brake wheel on now. It spins good and everything's all right. So now I'm going to weld all the bracket. I'm gonna weld the wheel fully to the bicycle. Just I'm gonna throttle it, and then you pull the brake lever when I tell you to. Do it. Ooh, nice brakes.
Those were good.
That feels like. I know that's some really nice brake. Cool. So now we have good brakes. Go. So now I am attaching the foot pegs, which are pretty handy. I'm gonna wheel the motorbike up to the road and then test it. The motorbike is finally done, so now I'm gonna give it a test drive. Ready? Mm-hmm. Buckle it. Well, the motorbike works really well. I like it a lot, and I think it turned out really well. Last night wasn't necessarily the truth. The bike did not work well. The chain got loose because of all the parts got moving again, and sometimes that does happen, so you usually let everything, I don't know, sink in, and then you tighten up the chain, and then the brake, when I pulled the lever, the brake worked, and it stopped the wheel and just ripped all the welds out. And I've looked at it, and I think it's the wheel's here, and it has these down pieces. If I weld it on this side, I think it'll work better, but I'll show you. Okay, so here's the bike, and this got really loose, and when I put it on, it was not that loose, so I guess everything had just started moving. And then look, the wheel just came right off, busted right off. I guess on the side, instead of going on the side, I'm gonna go in there. So it's not holding from the side, it's pushing against it and holding it. Got the bike pulled up. So now I'm gonna move the wheel back to see if it affects the brake. If it affects where this is, pulling it back, because if the wheel will be, I don't think it will because of how it looks, but you never know. There we go. I guess I'll have to try to get as tight as I can by hand because I can't figure out any other way to do it. I just don't understand it fully, I guess. I bet I could look it up, but just trying to get it done. I think I'm getting it pretty tight right now. Okay, there we go. That's a tight chain now. That's what I want. See how tight? And the chain does kind of swerve around this bar. And I've tried to fix that, and maybe it'll eventually, it just rubs against it, and I don't know if that's causing problems, but I've tried not to have it rubbing against, and it just can't. It's because I guess the motor is too far over this way. But I don't think there's anything I can do about that. So it'll just have to rub. Turn the welder on. Okay, now I'm gonna weld the brake wheel on. Okay, I got it welded on. And I think this time it's gonna hold. I mean, they're not the prettiest welds I've ever done because of how tight they are. But I'm hoping they'll just hold because that's all I literally need them to do is just hold so it can break. Okay, I got it all attached in here. Now, I'm really surprised at how hard this is to get both of these whole systems set up, but I guess it was a good challenge because you have to get the chain tight and the brake correct at the same time, which is pretty hard. Now I'm putting on the chain. Now that I got the brakes fixed and the chain tight, let's take it for a spin. My brakes stopped me that time and they work really well.
Hey, you got it working.
The brakes work too.
Really?
My motorbike did work for a little bit, but then the battery ran out of juice and the brake busted again. And I'm trying to figure out how to get that to stay, and I think I've now have just figured out. But I, for now, am going to attach the turn signals and headlights. So I'll put you guys on a time lapse because that's a really tedious job. I've got a lot of the wires on in here. I've got the turn signal set up, so I'm gonna hook the battery up and then test it. Okay, I'm attaching the minus. Okay. So when I turn the switch, dang it. Seriously? Wonder why not? It's not working. So I'm testing with a tester and nothing's coming up. So the battery's empty. I'll have to get another battery and then I hope it works. There's 3 batteries here. I'll go get the tester and we'll test them. Kind of full, but if there's any one that's fuller, I'll use it. This one's empty. Okay. This one right here is the fullest, so I'll take that one. Okay, I'm hooking them up. Tough, kind of feel better. Okay, ready? Seriously? I don't know what's happening. That's so confusing. I looked at this chart and some wires were not connected, so now I've connected them and I'll hook it up to the battery and then we'll go and see if it works. And I really hope it works this time. Okay, it's time to test. What? Oh my gosh! I'm so over this. I'm gonna test it again and let's see if it works this time. Oh, it works. Something's gone wrong on the other side. But this side works, and it's okay. Something went wrong on the other side, and I'm gonna figure that out. And I already think I know the problem. This is the light. And so I got the blues mixed up, but they're the same color blues, which I wonder why they did that. But I'll have to switch those around. Okay, well since I got the 2 blues mixed up, it's this blue and this blue. All I have to do is switch them out, and then my turn signals will work. Then I know that I can get the headlight going, which I guess I still gotta make that decision. I think I'm still gonna have it here, but I can have as many headlights as I want, or all around LED lights around it, which I think is pretty cool. I bought 2 on accident. I could even have some cool red lights at the bottom if I wanted to, but I don't know. Okay, it works. Ready? Flip the switch, and it makes the blinker noise. Now, I did put back blinkers. See? And then that's so cool. Now I can go on the highway. Just kidding. Okay. Let's see if the light works. Cool. Look, I also have a light back here. Come. Just like a cool effect light, but
What
nothing
kind?
much. So that's neat. Now, okay, now that I've got all the wiring hooked up, I'm gonna put everything back in and put the seat on, and then back to the brake. The brake is messed me up again. I'm so annoyed with the brake. It loosened up again, so now I'm gonna weld it on there some more, and then maybe, I hope it'll work some more. I don't know. Maybe I'm beating a dead horse just welding it. Got all the blinker stuff done, which makes me so happy because I've never done such a feat. Like, watch, it works. I've never done such a wiring feat in my life, which makes me really excited because that was some really difficult wiring, and I didn't figure it out all on my own. It came with this little sheet, and it shows you where all the wires go. I went off that That's maybe partly why it took me so long, but I was surprised at how everything was wired up. But I'm so happy it works. So now I'm going to weld some more on the braking. Okay, I got the brake wheel welded on. And I think that's actually, I hope that's secure. I just hope so, because that's really what I need, a secure brake. It stopped working and I pushed it back into the shop and I'm gonna see what's gone wrong. Okay, my battery's charged now. I had to set it up in a funky position all night and then it charged. So now let's see if I get farther than 300 feet. Now I'm putting on the top board and the seats. Hear the brake wheel rubbing? Yeah. Get out of the road! Jeez. Go for it, Josiah. Put your kickstand up. One legs. Fine. That cha-cha-cha-cha noise is the brakes, I know. They got on a little bit crooked. I didn't mean for them to go on that crooked, but it'll just have to be like that, I guess. For such good brakes, I guess that's pretty okay.